Welcome to Hope Natural Health, the podcast inspiring you to be your best version. Join me, your host, Dr. Erin, naturopathic doctor, dog mom, cancer survivor, and girl boss weekly as we discuss all things health, hormones, and happiness with a little side of this thing called life. Welcome back to the Hope Natural Health podcast, where I try to get you healthy the right way. Last week, we talked all about why listening to your body is so important with special guest Felicia Romero. So go back and listen to that one. And today, I am super excited to be recording the 50th episode of the Hope Natural Health podcast. When I'm looking back to when I first started recording here, I really am thinking about the podcast and how it came to fruition and how I just was like, I'm going to start a podcast. And I cannot believe that we're already at episode 50. And I've technically been recording for about a year now, even though we didn't launch the podcast until August of 2021. So it hasn't been out a full year yet, but here we are at episode 50. So today's episode, I thought I would do a little bit of reminiscing over the last 50 episodes, talking about the top 5 downloaded episodes. And then I'm going to let you know of a special giveaway to celebrate this big 5-0. So over the last 49 episodes, we've had close to 5,000 downloads of the different podcasts. So super exciting. I also wanted to mention the top 5 downloaded episodes, which are episode 2 is the number 1 downloaded episode, which is Foundations of Health. So in this episode, I talk about literally the foundations of health and where you need to start if you don't know where to start. So back to getting to the root cause, we have to make sure that the foundations of health are in line. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go back. I discuss my healthy habits course in there, I believe, and it's just a general good wellness, quick little listen. So go back to episode 2. That is the top downloaded episode of the Hope Natural Health podcast. Number 2 is with guest Jillian Bargume with Millennial Nutrition. She has now since rebranded, so it's Jillian now, but this one talks all about diets, healthy eating, and her What's for Dinner Club, which is still going on. It was the number 2 downloaded episode, and it was a really fun chat with dietitian Jillian. So go back and listen to that one. The 3rd most downloaded episode was episode 12, all about leaky gut. I talk about gut probably a little bit in each podcast because the gut is really one of the foundations of health. And in that episode, I talk about leaky gut and how really everyone has some sort of leaky gut to some extent, but it can talk about why we have leaky gut and what you can do about it. So go back and listen to that. The 4th downloaded episode was episode 5, 3 reasons why you might be gaining weight. So this is also a hot topic, is weight gain. And I know so many women are struggling with weight loss or are on a weight loss journey. So if you want to know my 3 reasons why you might be gaining weight, even though there's probably a million more, I just cut it down to top 3 reasons why. Check that episode out. And then the 5th most downloaded episode was the very first episode I did about welcoming you to Hope Natural Health, the podcast, a little bit about me and why I started this podcast, my health journey, why I became a naturopathic doctor, why I do what I do on a daily basis. And it was really the intro episode. So that was super cool to see that in the top 5. So if you haven't listened to any of those, go back and listen to them. But also every other episode besides that is really good too. We talk a little bit about, obviously a lot about health, hormones, happiness, some business topics, special guests, some really cool, interesting things on the podcast. So they're all usually less than 30 minutes, which is how I like to listen to my podcast. So pop in your ear pods and go listen to a podcast on your next walk or your next little trip to the grocery store. I would really appreciate it. Which leads me to my big celebratory announcement. I'm going to do a giveaway for one $50 gift card to Amazon if you leave me a review on any platform. I would really love your support, and it helps me get seen in the podcast world a little bit more. So if you go and leave a review, don't do anonymous because then I won't know who to or what name to put into the raffle drawing. You can put your first and last initial and leave me a review on any platform that we're on, which we're on all major platforms, and you will be entered to win the $50 gift card to Amazon. And for a second chance to win, you can email me a podcast topic recommendation that you would love to hear on the show to podcast@hopenaturalhealth.com. So that would be a second chance to win. So either one, leave me a review or send me a podcast topic recommendation, and you can be entered to win the $50 gift card to Amazon. So it's kind of funny. I'm looking at the time, and we're at 5 minutes, 5:0. Seems fitting to end this podcast because it's the 50th episode. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you again next week.